You have watched the decline. You have seen the flight schools close, the maintenance shops shut down, the airports turn into housing developments. The pilots age out and sell their airplanes. The young people stay away. The manufacturers focus on the wealthy. The regulators tighten restrictions. Insurance companies raise their rates. Fuel becomes scarce and more expensive. Parts become harder to find. Mechanics become increasingly rare. The community becomes smaller, quieter, older, weaker. You have watched all of this, and you have asked yourself, will it ever come back? Will the market recover? Will the next generation save it? Will there be a renaissance? The answer is no. General aviation will never recover. The damage is permanent. Not because of one issue, because of everything. The structure has been broken, the foundation has cracked, the ecosystem has been disrupted. What remains is not a recovery, it is a contraction. A smaller, cleaner, newer, and much more expensive version of what once existed. The era of the affordable, accessible, mass-market Cessna 172 is over. The era of light sport aircraft and turbines has begun. This is not a cycle, it is a permanent shift. I am going to explain why, and I am going to show you what the future actually looks like. Let me start with a story from the past. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, American general aviation was booming. Nearly 18,000 aircraft were produced every year. Innovation was everywhere. Competition was intense. Prices were within reach for a large portion of the flying community. Then everything changed. Product liability lawsuits surged. Affordable insurance disappeared. Building small airplanes stopped making economic sense. By 1986, production had fallen to around 4,000 aircraft. By 1994, it had dropped below 1,000. The industry collapsed. Cessna suspended piston aircraft production. Piper entered Chapter 11 bankruptcy. That period became a defining moment in aviation history. It broke the momentum of the post-war aviation boom. Although the General Aviation Revitalization Act of 1994 provided some relief by introducing an 18-year statute of repose, the industry never returned to what it had been. The age of affordable mass-market airplane ownership effectively ended in the 1980s. What remains today is only its echo. Here is the truth. The structural collapse of the 1980s created the conditions we see today. Manufacturers that survived shifted toward higher-margin products. Middle-class buyers were pushed out of the market. The fleet continued to age. Spare parts became more difficult to obtain. Fewer mechanics entered the profession. Fewer pilots entered training. The entire ecosystem was weakened. What we are witnessing now is not a new crisis. It is the final stage of a process that began more than 40 years ago. The fuel transition is not the cause. It is simply the catalyst. Let me explain why the damage is permanent. Reason number one. The fleet is too old. Most of today's general aviation aircraft were built during the production boom from the mid-1960s through the mid-1980s. Today, those airplanes are 40, 50, or even 60 years old. Every year they disappear through accidents, neglect, corrosion, and rising maintenance costs. Airframes continue aging. Structures fatigue. Parts wear out. Owners are not replacing them with new airplanes because new aircraft often cost close to $1 million. The fleet is shrinking, not because airplanes are crashing, because economics no longer support ownership. Eventually, maintaining an older airplane costs more than the airplane itself is worth. Owners park them, they deteriorate, and they never return to service. Reason number two, the maintenance pipeline is broken. Throughout North America and Europe, demographic trends are working against aviation. Skilled technicians are retiring faster than they can be replaced. The average A&P mechanic is now in the mid-50s. Mechanics with inspection authorization are even older. Training schools are not producing enough new technicians. Those who do graduate often choose airline careers with higher pay and better benefits. Independent maintenance shops struggle with rising rent and operating costs before eventually shutting their doors. The result is a severe shortage of local maintenance services. When scheduling or paying for a basic inspection becomes nearly impossible, owning a small airplane becomes a luxury reserved for the wealthy. And wealthy owners generally fly turbines, not aging Cessnas. Reason number three, the fuel transition acts as a filter. The FAA has formally committed to eliminating 100 LL aviation gasoline. This represents the largest structural change to piston aviation since the arrival of the jet age. Removing lead is far more complex than changing fuel grades. It changes the engineering requirements of piston engines. High compression and turbocharged engines face the greatest uncertainty. The engines powering aircraft such as the Cessna 182, Piper Malibu, and Mooney Ovation are among the most exposed. Fuel uncertainty is already affecting training economics, rental fleets, aircraft values, and long-term ownership costs. The piston fleet will gradually separate into aircraft that adapt successfully, those that struggle, and those that become obsolete. This is not a temporary disruption. It is a permanent restructuring. The era of inexpensive, dependable, high-octane avgas is ending. Along with it, the era of the affordable piston single. Reason number 4. New airplanes are no longer built for the average owner. Manufacturers continue reporting record revenues and strong demand, but demand is concentrated in premium products. Business jets, turboprops, high-end aircraft. Growth is occurring in large cabin and luxury segments, not among Cessna 172s or Piper Cherokees. The industry is consolidating around wealthier customers. Manufacturers have little financial incentive to produce affordable entry-level airplanes or rebuild the aging legacy fleet. They have moved toward more profitable markets, and the future is moving with them. Let me pause here. Think about the market reports. Most of them tell the same story. General aviation is growing. Market forecasts project expansion from $36.59 billion in 2026 to $44.76 billion by 2031. Business jets account for nearly half of the total market. The headlines say the industry is healthy. That is only part of the story. Manufacturers may be thriving, corporate aviation may be expanding, but the traditional general aviation community is not. Growth is concentrated in premium aircraft rather than the airplanes most private pilots fly. The industry continues growing while leaving much of general aviation behind. This is not a temporary cycle, it is a structural shift. Reason number 5. The culture has become less welcoming. The average pilot is now 52 years old. The average aircraft owner is 57. The community continues to age. Younger generations see little that connects with their interests. Electric aircraft are emerging. Sustainable fuels are advancing. Artificial intelligence is becoming part of aviation. Yet the industry's public image remains focused on its past rather than its future. Younger people are inspired by innovation, not nostalgia. The future is not a 1978 Cessna 172. Let me pause again. Think about recovery. When was the last time you met a new pilot under 30? A new mechanic under 25? A newly opened flight school? A newly built airport? Those examples have become increasingly rare. The pipeline continues shrinking. The community continues aging. The industry continues changing. The damage has become structural. Here is my advice. Accept reality. General aviation is unlikely to return to the golden years of the 1970s. It is unlikely to return to the affordable ownership of the 1990s. Those years are gone. The market has contracted. The fleet continues aging. Mechanics continue retiring. Fuel continues changing. Manufacturers continue moving toward premium markets. Pilots continue leaving. The industry is not returning to its former shape because its foundation has fundamentally changed. That does not mean aviation is disappearing. It means aviation is evolving, a smaller, newer, cleaner, more expensive version of itself. Light sport aircraft, experimental aircraft, turbines, electric airplanes. That is where much of the future lies. Not in the aging Cessna 172, not in the Piper Cherokee, not in the Beechcraft Bonanza. The legacy fleet continues declining while a different generation of aircraft begins to emerge. If you love aviation, adapt. Do not wait for a recovery that may never arrive. Do not remain attached to the past. Consider new opportunities. Consider light sport aircraft, experimentals, turbines if they fit your needs, electric aircraft as they become practical. Join a flying club. Rent when ownership no longer makes financial sense. Do not hold on to an asset simply because of nostalgia. The market has changed. The old assumptions no longer apply. Let me pause one final time. Think about your legacy. What do you want to leave behind? A memory of aviation's past? Or a future built around new pilots and new technologies? The choice is not between yesterday and tomorrow. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is already arriving. The only decision left is whether to embrace it. Here is my final thought. General aviation will never fully recover to what it once was. Not because pilots failed, because the world changed. Fuel is changing. Manufacturers have moved toward different markets. Mechanics continue retiring. Pilots continue aging. The market has compressed. The era of the affordable mass-market Cessna 172 has ended. The era of light sport aircraft and turbines has begun. This is not a temporary cycle. It is a lasting transformation. The past is not returning, but the future is still there. The sky remains open. What matters is not what you fly. What matters is that you keep flying. The future will not look like the past. It will be something different, something new, something built for a different generation. Adapt to it, fly forward. That is the future. That is the path ahead.